Discussion online about Kara's queerness in the comics. Was that something that you explored when you were preparing for the role?
It wasn't, but in honor of Pride Month, as I'm getting all these questions.
Why are you gay?
I don't know. I think that what makes this film so beautiful is that it's not centered around a man. It's not centered around love at all.
The fucking logarithm is so bad. Wow, the logarithm goes in extremes on that website. Wow, the logarithm goes in extremes on that website.
We'll see. I don't really know, but I don't know. I don't know.
It's great.
She'd probably go both ways.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you've been keeping hydrated in these warm summer days, because in today's video, you're going to witness the horrors of what happens when you get your brain cooked by too much ultraviolet radiation. Angry Joe, also known as Miffed Miguel, also known as Perturbed Pedro, also known as Frustrated Fernando, also known as Outraged Ortiz, and all sorts of other variations, I think you get it by now, went on another monumental multiple-day crash out on social media throughout the last couple of weeks. I say another because a few months ago something similar happened. I made a video on it. It was this one right here. But it was a little bit more serious and topical. That was my mistake though, because, well, I don't think explaining these issues is ever going to help Joe. I think this dude just kind of loses it every now and then. He sees certain people online and he just spurgs out because they have different opinions than he does. Hell, sometimes they even have similar opinions to Joe's, but he spurgs out anyway, as is the case with what happened now with the Supergirl movie, where Joe ended up hating it. He even has videos angry ranting at things that suck in it.
Why did you do that? The whole point of this! Did you miss the whole point? At the end... Okay, let me say this. There's two things. I'm getting into my hate, okay? As you can tell, I'm getting the hate! The hate! Nowhere near as good as this. In fact, it f***s up several really important things for the character. Why? Why? Now, does that mean Supergirl is a fucking bad film and it's awful? No, it doesn't. It's not a bad film, but I wanted to love it, and instead, I liked it.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm in the, I'm in the black super suit today because, unfortunately, I went and saw Supergirl second time, this time with the family over the weekend. They done it up, guys. Did you like it much better, Joe? Did you change your opinion? You're gonna watch it 6 more times and the score gonna go up? No. In fact, upon second viewing, I thought it was worse. It's a 4, and it remains a 4 upon second viewing. And fuck, if I have to see this thing a third time, it's probably gonna be a 3.
Multiple hour-long videos of this stuff, but just a day or so before the stupid movie came out, he was online embarrassing himself, begging his subscribers and followers to please go watch it.
I am looking forward to it, and I hope it does well. Please go out and support it. Go out and support your boy, okay? You go out and watch the movie, you're supporting what your boy likes and making me happy, okay? What your boy likes and making me happy, okay?
Joe's friends just cracked me up in this video. OJ and Alex, I believe. I mean, just look at these dudes. Look at their face. Even they are done with Joe's shit behind the scenes. I would bet money on that. So Joe was shelling hard for the movie, ignoring all the red flags walking up to it, getting mad at other people online who noticed those red flags, and even then, when he watched it and got pissed off at the movie being bad, he's still getting mad at people who don't like it. It's going to be a rough one today, fellas, so make sure to get your water ready. We're going to be going through Joe's idiocy, then we'll go through his crash out in chronological order, and then his hypocrisy. So let's not waste any more time and jump right in. Before we get back to what's happening now, we need to go back to that earlier crash out, the patient zero, so to speak. So back then, what basically went down was this article from Variety came out, where Supergirl star Millie Alcock says that she knows she'll face backlash by simply existing as a woman in a franchise IP, and that as a society we have become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies.
With all due respect, what the fuck are you talking about?
Now over here on my channel, we are all very mature, very adult people, and so therefore we will not be making fun of Millie Alcock's name. You know, that's her name, that's her business. If that's what she's all about, then that's what she's all about. What is she talking about though? That's what I want to know. Like, what the fuck does that mean? What does this Hollywood starlet who earns millions of dollars making movies know about society to lecture people with? Or what could she possibly even have to complain about despite having the easiest job on the f***ing planet? This has gotta be one of my biggest pet peeves. You work where you work, you do what you do, you make the money that you make, and you still find a way to complain. I mean, that's just impressive. But back to it, what is all this stuff about? What could she possibly be talking about? Like, whose bodies do I own besides the ones in my basement? I don't know, guys. To this day, I'm still trying to figure it out. Regardless though, the Angry Joe part of this nonsense was that when you're doing press or interviews or marketing for a movie or a game or a TV show or whatever else, and you focus on some dumb ideological or political or social garbage like that, it comes across as a red flag to pretty much anyone who has already noticed that whenever this happens, 9 times out of 10, you know, hypothetically speaking, the end product is going to suck, or it's going to be mid, or there's going to be some kind of problem attached to it, because the people in charge of it are likely more worried about or interested in that kind of nonsense instead of the actual movie or DC universe as a whole, or even just their jobs as writers, designers, actors, directors, etc. It's really a very simple and basic concept that is often ignored by types like Angry Joe, who try so hard to look away from all of these red flags despite them being massive elephants in the room. They like to go like, ah, well, the movie or the game or whatever was bad, yes, but it wasn't because of any of this stuff that these chuds are talking about. It's not because the marketing was about politics or LGBT stuff. It's because it had bad writing. That's it.
And there's stuff surrounding this film. Like, if you want me to talk about, there's a certain group of people on YouTube that makes a big deal about interviews and what Millie said about Christian dads making fun of her and throwing pictures up and calling her ugly and comparing her to caveman and then what she said to a gay interviewer on Pride Month, all that shit, that's for the culture wars, that's for them, and I point out how stupid it is, and that's not a part of the box office, success.
Totally ignoring the question of why is it that those people, those writers for example, got the job in the first place? How is it that once great and talented writers who wrote cool stories for us, or directors who were truly passionate about adapting awesome comic stories, got replaced by people who are unable to execute the same things with quality and are instead more preoccupied with virtue signaling? Or in the case of Supergirl, you have this writer that just came out of nowhere, no one ever heard of her, no one knows who she is, and she just gets handed this position because apparently she just had this amazing script that James Gunn had to hire her for because he had never seen a script more perfect than this.
Fucking script and the screenplay and the story, they messed up. And I found out confirmation that the writer, Anna, and I hate to put this on just one person's shoulder. I'm sure Craig had Craig had a quote that said, I didn't even bother to read the comic before I drafted up my first pitch. That's not a good start, buddy. That's not a good start for his visual pitch. That might be why your movie looks like shit and you didn't take anything from the comics. Here's the confirmation that Anna had no understanding. She didn't grasp the themes that were in the comic. Supergirl writer Anna says the ending of Supergirl was decided early on because the comic book ends with Ruthie killing Krem. You dumb f***. Are you not gonna ask anybody? Are you not gonna check? Did nobody on the team talk to you?
I mean, holy shit, Santa Claus is more believable than this story. And I almost want to tell you guys to go watch the movie so that you can see what she wrote. Because this is some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen in a movie. But apparently to James Gunn, it was enough to make him cream his shorts. You know what it is, fellas? It smells like shit around here. And it ain't coming from me. But anyway, when you see stuff like that in marketing for media, it usually also means that the IP is being mishandled because, again, instead of having someone competent, creative, and who weeps out at Superman, you have Hollywood soy boys and no-name media people making vapid commentary about womanhood or toxic masculinity or feminism or the patriarchy or LGBTQIA2S+++ initiatives and on it goes. That's what we get for making Superman movies. We get people who don't even know Superman's f***ing name.
What is Superman's middle name?
Danger.
Justin. Is it?
I gave that one to you because I didn't want to have to answer it. Does Clark Kent have a middle name? I'm embarrassed that I don't know. He does?
He does?
What is it?
What's his middle name? I was so close.
Joseph. His Clark Kent. Oh, what you just asked that? Joseph Kent is his middle name.
I was gonna
Trying to take the win for the edit?
Yeah.
And of course, enraged Enrique got mad at this response from people like Nerdrotic, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, Az from Heel vs. Babyface, you know, basically the Chud Club. The owners and proprietors of the Chuds R Us, okay? Because Joe has basically devolved into this wreck of a man who is so politically obsessed that he can't even be objective anymore. Once upon a time, he would call out this kind of thing as tourism. Because even though Angry Joe wasn't ever much of a culture warrior type of guy, he was very protective of his favorite franchises and hated when they were misused by posers who were more focused on other external crap rather than the games or movies themselves that they were creating.
Oh, you're winning, son?
I don't really know, Dad. There's no scoreboard, and no all chat. They did give me this participation trophy, though. So, it's that.
Huh. That's, it's kinda lame. Kinda candy-ass participation trophy shit.
Hell, the dude even had a whole crusade against Jeff Keighley because he believed that Jeff Keighley was a fraud who didn't care about gaming genuinely, with his shows that he used to host way back in the day before the Game Awards and the Summer Games Fest as we know them now. But now, Joe is just lost. Bro is gone. He doesn't call any of that stuff out in gaming anymore. In fact, he defends it because it aligns against the politics of the people that he decided to hate, even when it's people that he shares a lot in common with, and we'll get into that a little bit more on the last point. He sees people taking over his favorite franchises and making garbage, and he defends it with tears in his eyes, like that meme from that old man, "Hide the pain, Harold." Here it is, this is it right here. This is Angry Joe now defending all these Hollywood cucklings and activists in gaming who come and use his favorite franchises for clout.
Now, does that mean Supergirl is a fucking bad film and it's awful? No, it doesn't. It's not a bad film, but I wanted to love it, and instead, I liked it, and there's parts of it that I liked, there's parts of it that I didn't like, and there's parts of it that I fucking hated. And I gotta bring it to you real.
But anyway, that was then, and this is now. Fast forward to the launch week of the Supergirl movie, and Millie Alcock once again goes trending on social media with another cringy interview commentary that has nothing to do with the movie and was instead about LGBTQ+, etc, etc, etc. Why is it always the same? Why can't these people get any new material, man? Can we go back to talking about the polar ice caps? But now all this LGBT stuff and queer stuff, like, it's entirely a queer story, because it's Supergirl and there's like no man in this story, and it's like she's a modern woman, she's Maxie's own person, and I think she could really swing both ways. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What am I gonna do with that? Think I'm gonna buy a movie ticket from a girl named Millie Alcock talking about LGBT? You'd think she'd change her name if she was gonna be doing that shit. Anyway, where even was I? I don't know. Millie went on to say, in relation to the character's sexuality, that Supergirl is the type of woman who would probably go both ways, and that her strength and resilience reflects the LGBT community's strength and resilience too, among some other cringe, like saying that Supergirl appeals to queer fans because she doesn't live inside of the binary of what people think that women should be. And last one, guys, okay? Be resilient and strong too, okay? You gotta listen to this. That she has many queer friends and sees Supergirl in this new movie as a strong, tough, messy, modern woman who doesn't center herself on romance nor on men. And so there's a relatability there which she likes and feels honored by. I paraphrased, well, I didn't paraphrase. Most of this is direct quotes, but I jumbled them all together instead of reading them one by one for the sake of my sanity. There were a few other things that were honestly really stupid, like for example saying that her haters are burner accounts and profiles identifying themselves as Christian dads, and that there's nothing to care about there because, and I quote, "if you're pissing off the right kind of people, then you're doing okay." Well, Millie, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of Christian dads out there. That's the majority of men that you're ragging on in North America, South America, and Europe, where your movie is being sold. And even if you were to say some dumb shit like, "that's not the whole world, okay? There's a whole world out there with many more people and points of view," then you'd be cooked anyway, because go and try to sell your movie in the Middle East or Asia or whatever else with the same stupid ass comments about queerness and binary of women and more self-hating modern feminist rhetoric, and that shit will be even more unpopular over there than it is right here. And by the way, of course, for Angry Joe, none of this matters. It's all down to who cares? Well, if it doesn't matter, if it's unimportant, then why did she make so much of her commentary on the movie be about this stupid shit? Again, if it doesn't matter, if it's unimportant, why not just keep it completely neutral and apolitical? Why not just tell all of those supposed Superman fans online, who are apparently dying to know whether Kara is gay or not, that it's just not that kind of character and not that kind of movie? Well, let's face it, it's because all of these access media outlets have been completely taken over by fairy gender activists, and if you say or do anything at all that can be even perceived as a slight, such as trying to remain neutral or avoid dumbass questions, you get yourself, your movie, and your co-workers in a world of trouble because of smearing campaigns, misinterpretations, bigoted accusations, so on and so forth. We already know how these people operate, and anyone who does what Millie did is just contributing for that poisonous, biased, corrupt culture around access media to continue. That alone is worth not spending your money on this awful movie. The writing, directing, botched visuals, and the general ugliness on screen is just a cherry on top of the money saved. And I would love so much to see that kind of comment that if you're pissing off the right kind of people, then you're doing okay, be directed at literally any other ethnic or religious group other than white men or Christian dads. Oh, I would love to see what would happen, I really would. Now, what were any of these comments for? I don't know. What part of this is supposed to appeal to anyone interested in a new Supergirl story? A continuation to last year's Superman, or just comic book movies in general? I don't know either. If anything, it does the opposite. It doesn't get asses in seats, it evaporates them. There's this delusion that Hollywood people have where they think that they can make a blue shirt, right? Just take it as an example. And then they take that blue shirt and they try to market it to people who don't even wear shirts. they go, shirtless people are the best, they suffer so much under the, patriarchy of the shirts. We all owe them, they're the most relevant and important people on the planet, etc, etc, etc. Hoping that it's going to make these shirtless people come in droves to buy the stupid blue shirt. It ain't gonna happen, dumbass. They don't like shirts. Blue, yellow, pink, it doesn't matter to them. Last year, when the Superman movie was close to launch, a similar drama happened because James Gunn decided to do some comments about immigration and how Superman fits into that because Clark Kent is an immigrant. And of course he did that because immigration was and still is a hot topic right now. See, this is what these lobotomites do. They latch themselves onto ongoing divisive political issues or social causes, thinking that it's going to gain them virtue points or thinking that it's going to sell the movie better, because in these people's minds, they think they are in the super majority and that these things aren't divisive at all, that they're just easy W's because everyone who likes entertainment is both left-wing, stupid, and thirsting for more politics. They can't fathom that there's an entire audience of people out there who just want to watch a goddamn movie and shut up. It's like that Pimp My Ride show that used to be on MTV. I used to watch that when I was a little kid.
We know you want to be a traveling nurse, so we hooked you up with something special. Check this out.
What is this?
Your own mobile CAT scan machine.
Except instead of pimping rides, Exhibit would come in and be like, hey dog, I heard you like politics, so we decided to put more politics into your non-politics stuff. We got it in your movies, your games, your music, your TV shows, and even on your toilet, so that when you flush that bad boy, you get a full rant from your favorite radical far-left commentator.
I hate the left. I hate liberalism. I hate everything that's going on every single fucking day of the goddamn week. I hate my life. I hate fucking streaming. I hate socialism. I hate every single fucking person who thinks that the peak of activism is just being...
When in reality, all of this is really just very divisive and toxic as hell, and your average audience member is getting tired of it regardless of who they vote for. Only one type of person likes this: no-life, terminally online weirdos who politicize literally everything. But the worst offense isn't even that it's divisive and toxic, it's that it just doesn't even belong at all. Why do these people feel the need to go and talk to these parasites in the excess media? They just can't resist. Just stop it. Get some help. Nobody cares about your opinions or your politics or your other garbage. Just talk about the movie or don't talk at all. It used to be that you made a movie and then you would shut up, and then you'd go on a round of talk shows like Conan O'Brien, for example, right before the movie releases. So we could throw you some softball questions at you and prepare some funny jokes so that you could look all nice and affable to people. Then you would play a snippet of the trailer and Conan would say, "Alright folks, that's Supergirl opening June 26th on theaters. Give it up for James Gunn, everybody." And then everybody would clap and you would leave and feel real good about yourself. And that would be it. Now though, you hang around like a retard at these red carpet events and you wait for the excess media parasites to come and ask you stupid shit that is always geared in the same direction. Always, my dude. It's always something about LGBT or feminism stuff or immigration or Palestine, and it's always the same outlets too, which are unironically all owned by the same mass media corporation. Then they blast your sound bites online with rage bait across all manner of different outlets that they own, and you sit at home wondering why people are calling you divisive and saying that your movie is going to be shit. But sadly, these people's egos ratio their IQ like 100 to 1, so basically instead of being smart, what you get is, oh yeah, no, yeah guys, for sure, Clark Kent is an immigrant too, and you know how he fell from the sky, airdropped like a Call of Duty care package from another planet, and then he was secretly taken in and registered as the son of an American couple. Yeah guys, that's like totally the same as the immigration crisis. It's totally the same as the immigrants at Home Depot getting farmed by ICE, and so we should totally show solidarity and all that because it's literally the same thing.
What are you, stupid?
As soon as I saw that at the time, I was out. I didn't go watch the movie. And it's not even because of the politics itself, because it turned out that the things that James Gunn was talking about weren't even in the movie, but we'll get there later. It's because I have politics fatigue. Every time I hear political posturing or lecturing like that being marketed, my money shrivels up and crawls back inside my wallet. It is what it is. That is a huge red flag of the people making the product. But anyway, sorry about that rant, fellas, back to it. The Chuds from the Chuds R Us delegation of course covered all of these things that I talked about right now. They laughed at it, they posted memes, criticized it, and said that they thought that the movie was going to be ass. And Angry Joe lost his mind again and again and again, just like he did a few months ago in the exact same way. Except this time, it would end up being far worse because, well, on one hand, the movie sucks, so the Chuds from Chuds R Us were proven right. Even Joe admits that it sucks. But on top of that, it's also Joe at the most bad faith capacity that I've ever seen him. So let's go through it bit by bit. So it all more or less started right here. Disparu posted a clip from one of the cringe interviews that Millie was giving, where she says that Supergirl could go both ways. Maybe, probably. Yeah? That's a direct quote, by the way. Laugh included. I showed you parts of this before, but here you go again in full.
Online about Kara's queerness in the comics. Was that something that you explored when you were preparing for the role?
It wasn't, but in honor of Pride Month, as I'm getting all these questions. I don't know. I think that what makes this film so beautiful is that it's not centered around a man. It's not centered around love at all. If anything.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't really know, but I don't know. I don't know.
It's great.
She'd probably go both ways.
Was that something?
Many fans have embraced Supergirl as a queer icon. What do you think is about Kara that inspires that kind of connection?
I think I played a few characters that might have a potential queer through line. I have many queer friends, so honestly, I'm kind of honored. I'm honored that that's happening, but I think because she doesn't live inside the binary of what we think a woman should be, that is what makes her so special and so exciting and so new. And yeah, I kind of thought that as well. I was like, she'd do what she'd want to do in that regard anyway, but yeah, thank you.
See? Perfect impression. Nobody does it like we do it here on the Decembro show, fellas. Disparu shares this and writes, how to kill Supergirl in one step. And it's good that we already talked about this in the previous chapters, because otherwise I would want to give you context. Assmad Angelo sees this and he just loses it. Posts a whole ass wall of text, no periods, no paragraphs, no nothing. Just a straight wall. Quote, this is the most important stuff to this group of guys. What Millie says in passing to a gay interviewer on Pride Month. No, not only is this not just something in passing to an interviewer, it also wasn't the only time that cringe was engaged with during Supergirl's marketing. And throwing together the fact that they had already done this last year with Superman 2, it kinda just makes you conclude that nope, no lessons were learned, these are still the same morons with the same jobs, with the same directions, doing the same thing, appealing to the same losers while neglecting the core fanbase. Ah, but Dez, you can't get all that from a single interview. Well, it looks like we did. Good old pattern recognition, boys. It doesn't always work, but damn it if it doesn't have a high success rate. By the end, Joe adds, good job guys, make sure all interviews actors give match your own political sensibilities, the actual films be damned. Good or not, these guys will claim it's shit to avoid looking bad or pissing off their followers. First of all, that's the problem right there. They don't want the interviews to match their political sensibilities. They don't want the interviews to be about political sensibilities at all. The fact is that Joe is a goddamn hypocrite in this. If it was the opposite and the reviewer was going off about conservative shit, he'd be salivating and calling right-wing people hypocrites for having double standards, like when the Homeland Security page on X posted a Halo image as an ICE post. Dude lost his mind about it and said everyone defending it is a hypocrite, even though Homeland Security has nothing to do with Halo. See, the idea of the hypocrite thing is that usually right-wing people, or you know, whatever Joe associates with right-wing, which is anybody who complains about anything these days usually complain that they don't want politics in video games. And so when Homeland Security made a meme about Halo with eyes, in his mind it's the same thing, but it's just not. They're not making the game, they're not publishing it, they got nothing to do with it. There is no such content in the games. Well, sort of, in a way there is. Master Chief is literally fighting alien hordes. It's just that we all know it's got nothing to do with what's going on in America right now. It's just fiction. However, of course, if you want to overly politicize everything, you can't ignore that fact. Like, you can't ignore the fact that Halo isn't about opening your borders and singing Kumbaya together with invaders. But anyway, it's the same as anyone making whatever memes that they want to make of Halo, or making fan art that they want to make, or whatever else. It doesn't impact the content in Halo. But interviews about the movie are a little different. These are the people who make and star in the film. These are the people who market the film. Their words are important, and this is what they want to pass on. That the movie isn't for everyone, it's just for them and the people who agree with them. But there's two extra layers that make this post even funnier. Number one, none of this content was in the movie either. Just like last year, there was no weird, oh no, the poor illegals, please stop deportation shit in the Superman movie. These morons are just so brain dead, so immensely stupid, and by the way, so fake, that they're getting heavier on the politics during their marketing for no reason. They're just doing it so the libs and the wokes go watch the movie. They're doing it for the love of the game and with the expectation to get those people in while rejecting the Republican or conservative type of people. It's like trying to score a few extra points with the media apparatus. Do you want the media to glaze your movie and promote it some more, or do you want the media to treat you the way that they treat, you know, the developers of Lords of the Fallen 2, because they dare to appeal to gamers instead of appealing to soy boys and politicians and shit? But anyway, in reality, in the movie itself, when it comes to actual content, Supergirl being bi wasn't in there. So if you are a Pride Month intergalactic officer with rank and you go on Blue Sky and signal your army of like 13 people to go watch the Supergirl movie because it's progressive and Kara is bi in it, so there's representation and, you know, you gotta support this stuff and blah 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 blah, you know, all that stuff that they do, they're going to show up and get pissed off because nothing happened. Then the other thing that's funny is that last line from Joe's post. Good or not, these guys will claim it's shit to avoid looking bad or pissing off their followers. This coming from Joe is absolutely rich, because before Joe had any idea of how this movie was going to turn out, despite all the red flags against it, he was the one begging his followers to go watch it no matter what, to support his boy, to support the things that he likes. Sure, he said that it sucked after he watched it like 10 times to make sure, but did you guys see this meme from a cartoonist? Look at this shit, man. Bro, like, come on. But anyway, back to the thing. He says that it sucks after he watched it, but he's the one posing as a reviewer online and telling his fanbase to go spend money on garbage just because he wanted the box office numbers to be high enough so he could make the Chuds R Us delegation look bad. And I don't know, maybe it's another pet peeve of mine, but I don't like that. I think that if you're making these kinds of videos, you have a little degree of responsibility towards your audience who actually trusts the things that you say. So you should be a little bit more careful, and at the very least not point them towards garbage. After this happened, then is when the real crash out began, because as from Heel vs Babyface, aka Starfield Pronoun Man.
Hey Bethesda, I just want to say something to you. Bethesda, I just want to say something to you, Bethesda. Just want to say a little something. There is nothing I love more. Taking my headphones off. That. Bethesda, there is nothing I love more than Bethesda Western Game Company. Fuck.
Made a video about Angry Joe's comments towards Disparu, and this got Angry Joe to do like a Digimon evolution into Furious Fuentes as he dropped this post. Oh my god, LOL. Angry Joe savagely attacks Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers and Disparu with a different opinion about whether or not it matters if Millie says Supergirl could go both ways in a random interview. Is it in the actual film? Is it actually scary noises? Woke? Who cares? Just get him. Wah! Jesus, man, this is beneath me, man. You guys better like the damn video, and if you're watching on phone, you better do the thing where you hype up the video, because this is verbatim what he wrote. If you're an audio listener, you need to look at the screen so you see that I'm actually quoting this guy. It ain't right. You know, it's 5:30 in the morning right now and I'm recording this shit. You think I got health insurance doing this? You think I can just schedule a visit to a therapist or something to work me through the cringe that I have to read? YouTube doesn't give us anything. Except for the ad that probably just played right now. Let's continue. Help us fans against the big bad Joe. Brigade him. Tell him he's wrong. What was Joe wrong about again? It doesn't matter. Help me. Ha 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 ha. Y'all, this is pathetic. Now I just need the rest of you crying bitches to make videos about me simultaneously to increase our engagement and show how fragile you guys are. Link to me all your upcoming bitch fest about my opinions, and thank you guys. I'll be real with you guys, indignated Ignacio has lost his goddamn mind and he should not be left alone with a computer or with a phone that has access to social media. He needs to find some kind of media manager or something, because this was bad. And the worst is that it wasn't even it. There's more. This dude crashes out just like this all the time. He writes them as if he was performing them in a video. And again, the weird bad faith vibes hiding underneath too, because remember, it was Joyless Julio who started all this. Disparu's minding his business, he saw some cringe, he called it out, and this dude takes the first swing and makes it an open invitation because he mentions the group of guys, which of course is referring to the Chuds R Us congregation. So he takes the first shot with a delusional wall of text talking shit about them and misrepresenting their point, and now that they respond, he's sawing out crying about being brigaded. Like, brother, nobody's brigading you. You whined about them. It was lame, funny, and cringe, and now they're making fun of you. And how could they not? I mean, again, this is why bro needs a social media manager to stop him from sawing out on Twitter or posting cringe like that clip begging his fans to go watch where it looks like he's pushing his man titties together. Like, nobody want to see that, Joe. What the is you doing? And honestly, not for nothing, but if this ever reaches his homies, what is you guys doing too? You're sitting in the back of the room, you both look like you're done, but you're not telling your homie to stop. That's bad friendship, man. But anyway, in a totally unpredictable turn of events, the Chuds from Chuds R Us ended up being right. The movie ended up being a snore fest. By the way, big W to James Gunn and that new writer and all that stuff. Basically, all the people involved for saving me money. I'm actually genuinely appreciative of this because there's a lot of video games coming out, and so it's nice to have incompetent donkeys in Hollywood, Disney, Netflix, etc. essentially just saving me money. I decided to put the $15 that I would have spent on a Supergirl movie ticket towards Kenshi. It's a good looking RPG that I saw on sale. Can't wait to give it a try and let you guys know how it went. But back to Anguished Antonio. That post didn't go well. At all. He got hit with a bunch of comments and retweets roasting him, but it didn't stop him from continuing to press these people. On another post, Disparu criticized this article, another pile of garbage drenched in modern politicisms. Quote, Millie Alcock embraces queer readings of Supergirl and loves how the movie ditches a romance storyline. Quote, a great representation of a modern woman. Disparu adds, a great representation of a modern woman, lonely, miserable, depressed. Can't imagine why these aspirational movies aren't more popular. Steaming Santiago comes in and drops this amazing pile of brain rot. There it is again, this weird hate for women. What is a modern woman? Like, you mean any woman in 2026? Or only ones that like being single? You only like classic women? Retro women? Bro, I'm asking genuine, like, have you ever had a girlfriend? Were you hurt? Maybe you are dating the wrong ones. Or wait, are you like actually an incel? Like if you are, my bad, you do you, you know? I didn't know. It's just fascinating. God, this one is so obnoxious to read, dude. This is the embodiment of that millennial woes meme. It's amazing how much leftist discourse is just them pretending to not understand something, thus making discourse impossible. I don't even know how Disparu didn't respond to this. Like, if I read this, I would be so pissed off. Because it's just such an annoying little slimy, dishonest behavior. It's all literally in the article. None of what Disparu said is hatred of women. If anything, it's care for women because it's bashing this terrible brainwashing that women have been undergoing culturally, where anything related to men, including romance or heteronormativity in general or just having a family, are bad things that put them down rather than rise them up to the same level of societal importance as men. It's almost as if you cannot be seen as a man or have the same kind of stance as a man, you're useless. And it's just a total brainwashing mechanism meant to make them hate themselves, hate men, hate the societies they live in, feel undervalued if they even think of relying on men, etc. This isn't even something that I focus on in my channel, and even I know this much about this garbage without needing to go researching for 2 hours. Angry Joe has no excuse. He's just being disingenuous again. Millie Alcock believes this movie is fantastic and reflective of queerness and modern women because it doesn't center itself around a man. She said that herself. Plus the whole thing about the binary of women or whatever. And these were the words of the article. Joe is on this comment section insulting him, plus accusing him of hating women and trying to get a gotcha out of him by asking him to define what a modern woman is, when this shit was affirmed by the article itself and by the statements from Millie, which Disparu condemns. Modern womanhood is rooted in this new age modern feminism that is frankly just poison. It takes things about life that are positive and beautiful, like femininity, grace, beauty, love, motherhood, family, etc., and labels it as enslavement to a patriarchy. And it's pretty extreme too. Like, it's not even just advocating for women to be able to have all the freedoms Western civilization offers, where, you know, you go to school, you're free to pursue higher education, you can wear whatever you want, you can get a job, you can do whatever. It's instead just a deep resentment of normal traditional roles, both male and female. Again, all this is surface level stuff that any moron willing to call out a YouTuber covering an article about this should know. But instead, retarded Ricardo is sitting here just doing this leftoid tactic where you're insulting someone while pretending like you're just being nice and helping them. Oh bro, I'm just asking genuinely bro, have you ever had a girlfriend? At least one? Maybe, hey, maybe you're just dating the wrong ones. Oh wait, oh man, probably not. Maybe you're just one of those incels, huh? Which is fine, by the way, man, you know, my bad. I didn't know, man. You do you, man. I'm cool with whatever, man. I'm just trying to understand and help you, man. What a soy boy. Just say what you really mean, Joe. What is this? At the end of the day, guys, Joe is he's just so salt-filled. That he's such a salty Santiago. I already used Santiago before, goddammit. He's such a salty Salamanca of a man. And so it entails so much deception and lack of consistency. Really, it's like listening to a donkey go on about a topic. It's useless. For example, in Salty Salamanca's prediction of Supergirl's box office, he drops this line. Supergirl sells about 1/4 of Superman comics. The female crowd isn't engaged. Mostly males will see this film. Without a Barbie/female event crowd, it will not reach the numbers that it needs. So he admits that it's mostly men that are going to be watching a comic book film. This is obvious, of course. I mean, no shit, nerd stuff, you know, video games, comic books, fantasy, sci-fi, it's mostly male dominated. He'll admit this shit just fine when he's trying to, you know, make his stupid ass prediction about how bad the movies will do, which is a whole other thing too, because it's like, seriously, you admit that this movie is going to flop in your own prediction, but you tell your fan base to go watch it anyway, you go tell them to spend their money on garbage? And also, if Nerdrotic or Disparu say it, you crash out. Like, if it's them saying the movie's going to flop, you lose it. You go full frustrated Fernando on them. But when it comes to admitting that these people are marketing their movies like garbage and making them for the wrong audience, suddenly Joe doesn't take into account how the fan base is mostly male anymore. Suddenly that little detail doesn't matter. Last year, during the marketing for the Superman movie, James Gunn, who looks like a soy boy, talks like a soy boy, and hates himself and his entire gender, made this promotional thing where they're making Halo Halo or Halo Halo or whatever it's called a sweet treat for Superman summer. I'll roll a clip, I guess.
We're gonna make halo halo. Halo halo means mix mix. It's a shaved ice dessert.
I know from experience that some people at this table are not great at taking direction.
Oh my god.
So overexcited. That is trashy looking.
What? Super halo halo. Super halo halo.
Mine looks very professional because I
Of course you stole the plate.
I stole mine. Look at this thing I made, everybody. What you just asked that? Clark Joseph Kent is his middle name.
I was trying to take the win for the edit?
Yeah.
Disparu sees this and retweets it with, "Please hire some straight men for your marketing team." You know, just a funny post with a bit of genuine advice splashed in there, because honestly, it's, again, back to the things I talked about earlier. We have a comic book movie about Superman, and instead of getting some videos or interviews or marketing material that makes me feel like I'm about to watch a badass superhero film, I get shit like this. Why would I feel interested in it? Why would this be appealing enough to get me to spend my money? I don't get it. I genuinely don't. This is a problem the games industry suffers too. Remember the marketing for Dragon Age Veilguard, for example? What the hell was that? Where's Dragon Age, as we knew it? You know, remember marketing for About too? The first trailer was dark fantasy and dark dungeons and with swords and magic and shit. There was some kind of war going on, but then the following trailers were totally unrecognizable. There's giant mushrooms, colorful la-la lands, bunch of sparkly vomit particle effects on screen. Like, what are we doing? And the dialogue was even worse. And on this goes. The Outer Worlds 2 has the same problem. Newest God of War game is now led by Kratos' wife in Purple Magic Land, and her companions are a talking jelly cube and a talking set of ribbons. Oh, make no mistake guys, you know, during the Summer Games Fest we still saw a lot of awesome stuff. Summer Games Fest and Steam's Next Fest, you know, Mortal Shell 2, Vigor Mortis, Sprawl Zero, Onimusha, etc. But there's so much of this soy that looks deliberately made to not be masculine, to not appeal to the core fan bases. Like, you don't even need to be deliberately masculine, but you need to know that you're supposed to appeal to guys, because most of us are guys, just is what it is. You want to enter the AAA zone, you want to make the big bucks, you gotta get the dudes on board. But they fight this so much that it makes me not feel bad at all when they lose money and end up in layoffs and studio shutdowns. I mean, what else can I say? You made the choices to not appeal to the majority of the game buying public. You made the choice to stray away from that identity that games used to have and to drift towards the modern audience. We warned you time and time again that the modern audience is pointless. They don't buy games like we do. They don't support shit like we do. And the games made to appeal to them have very boring, very ugly, and deeply uninteresting characters, designs, and stories. So it's not even that we're not buying because he's not making the video game for me, so I'm not gonna buy it. It's not even about that. It's just that the game sucks, my brother. So you should stop making them this way. But you know, you did it anyway, and now you're struggling, and hey, it is what it is. Free market and all that. So I understand Disparu's sentiment within the joke. Angry Joe, on the other hand, though, just crashed out again. Guys, it's now gay to make desserts together. Did y'all know that?
Can't even make halo halo in the Philippines. Who loves Superman? Without these annoying anti-woke grifters getting triggered and crying that it's gay marketing and people like him aren't being represented. Because we all know Disparu is an expert on masculinity. The same Tayak song and dance from y'all already, and it's not even out yet. Y'all see through this obvious shit, right?
People who say y'all this much should get incarcerated, by the way. It could literally be showing clips of Superman dialogues and scenes that appeal to male audiences, that touch upon that masculine-coded part of Superman. Like Superman reinforcing his values, saving some innocent lives, kicking some bad guy's ass, or falling and motivating himself to get back up again. Being a symbol of hope while also being a strong symbol of assertiveness, rather than just being someone who's humiliated. Maybe something related to his father, but we all know how, you know, James Gunn screwed that up. Like, I don't know what to tell you, just some man shit, but none of this was present in the marketing, because it also wasn't present in the movie. You wanna put James Gunn making desserts? Go and put him making desserts. Ain't nobody saying that you can't make halo halo. What are you, stupid? Shit, it looks good. But again, when this type of thing is all you do for your marketing, plus divisive and utterly unnecessary political commentary, you send a strong message to every potential guy in the audience that this movie is going to be a drag. You look at the marketing and you see that nothing has changed. No lessons were learned, we're still being stupid. So after a bunch of soying out and coping, like with this post here, where he's so totally sure that none of the garbage that these lobotomites have been marketing the movie with would impact the box office, Supergirl releases to an absolute shit show. Remember Fragile Francisco's Cope prediction that it would flop? Yeah, well, it flopped even harder than that, and it has been such a bomb that even the critics didn't like it. And for days after the release, Angry Joe spent his time coping on social media. Not because he liked the movie, but because he hated it and he desperately needed it to be good so he could own the chuds. He's been in this really funny situation where on one hand he's being called out by a bunch of people because the people that he kept taking potshots at were absolutely right and the movie was a disaster in the making that they clocked months ago. But then he was also being laughed at by a bunch of other people because of how he shilled for the movie prior to release. You know, please go watch, please go support your boy and what your boy likes. And to make it worse, he's also been responding to access media outlets who try to cope about the movie themselves, like this one here. The Supergirl script is actually very strong despite what some are saying. If you're curious, check out our interview with Ana Nogueira where she explains her process of adapting the comic. Link below. So let me get this straight. This terrible script that completely failed at adapting the source content is actually very strong, because the writer, a literal no-name who just dropped out of nowhere, says so and explains her process of how to not adapt a comic.
What are you, retarded? So I know you're not retarded, but what are you, Down syndrome?
Not just me calling this out though, here's Joe, look at him go. No it isn't. This is high levels of cope, just letting you know in case you being too delusional to see it. Whoa, misogynist Sanchez actually out here dropping a based reply. This has been Joe's week, and look at whenever he does this, the comments under his posts are like, oh, you're such a chud. Why do you hate women, Joe? People are basically giving him a taste of his own medicine. This was Joe's entire week, and I really wish I had covered this earlier while it was happening. I'm sorry that I didn't, guys. The heat wave got really bad here, it impeded my work, and then the stupid PlayStation stuff happened and it got in the way. But it was very funny to see Angry Joe juggling these three situations. He's kinda still at it, but the ship is sailing now, obviously. In fact, this video about Supergirl is entirely out of time, but hopefully you guys will enjoy it either way. I wanted to make it anyway because of the topics that it covers, you know, and the responses and all that, because I still find it so silly that somebody like Angry Joe can't understand the connection between these things, the connection between the people that make a thing and then that thing being bad. We circle all the way back to that original question. None of this has to do with wokeness, it's just bad because it had a bad script. But why did it have a bad script? Why did a person who was not going to adapt the comic get appointed to adapt the comic. What is it, fucking opposite day? Why was the primary writer someone that nobody had ever heard about, that doesn't even have a tie to comics? Why is James Gunn so involved when he's proved himself to be bad at his job, or at least certainly proven himself to be the worst pick for this kind of job? Because James Gunn has one style of movie that he does, and it just so happens to be the style of movie that everyone is sick and tired of seeing, especially right now associated with superheroes. Gunn had one huge breakout hit with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's still the same way he makes his movies. Irreverent humor, quippy dialogue, chemistry-less ensembles that find each other on a journey with superficial, heartfelt moments that barely scratch the surface, and whenever they do, it doesn't matter anyway because it's time for either another silly joke or a musical montage. It's overdone. The MCU has run its course, it had a good run, and it ended with Endgame. All the other shit done to try and keep it alive on live support has been this kind of sludge, but on steroids. Even if the movies had been good, which they weren't, because of course, where's the sincerity, where's the actual heart, where's the variety? But even if they had been good, people are just tired of the same old shtick. And out of all the people to bring aboard to direct a DCU, they go for James Gunn, the guy whose whole identity, besides the politicisms that he just can't help himself to mention either on interviews or in dialogue lines or whatever, is those very same elements that people are so ready to let die in trade of something different. And this is an Angry Joe staple at this point. In his Dragon Age Veilguard review, he was fine with mentioning how bad the game was, but he never had the balls to call out exactly why it was bad. He never pointed at the clear, ideologically influenced sludge in it and identify it as exactly what it is, because he lives in pure denial. And now he's been lowering himself into engagement bait, like notice in these screenshots, these responses, he wasn't only responding, he was dragging other people in. He dragged Disparu in, and he was baiting his friends and colleagues. When he finally got the big cheese Nerdrotic to talk about him, it still wasn't enough, and now he was baiting Critical Drinker too. And it's just so pathetic. If he's worried about his views falling off on his channel, that he needs engagement bait from other people, then he should spend more time making the content that people actually want to watch. Like more reviews and parodies. I used to excuse it more because I understood it. It takes a long time to fully beat a game, then you gotta prepare the script, plus he makes these skits, etc. But it's ridiculous at this point where game after game after game gets skipped or relegated to a rapid fire review, which isn't even done by him. And then on the other hand, bro got way too much slop where he just sits there looking like he just rolled out of bed and yaps about something. If not for his homies to back and forth with, he'd be cooked. His thumbnails are... I mean, what are these things, man? Like, do you need a thumbnail guy, my dude? I'll do it for free. Holy shit, I'll give you a free trial at least, bro. Like, wait, 30 minutes, an hour, maybe an hour and a half with some software is all you need. What he shouldn't be doing, though, is crashing out like this and being so extreme with his ideological views, because all that this does is split his viewer base. The problem with Joe's attitude is that if you are what he deems to be a chud, or a bigot, or a grifter, or a MAGA guy, or a whatever, you are just not welcome. He doesn't want you there, and he's confident in that because he thinks that there's only like 83 people like that out there in the world. But the reality is that he's so far gone, so sensitive, so annoying, so disingenuously up his own ass, that means that he's turning away hundreds of thousands of viewers who are just moderate dudes who think there's something to all this stuff. It doesn't even mean that they are all the way at like the level of Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, or Nerdrotic, or Az, or Drinker, but just questioning things that Joe believes are not up for questioning. That alone is enough to get you crossed out, and that's what he should be avoiding. If he wants more viewers, he needs to stop turning away normal people who just wanna watch a good goddamn movie every now and then. But that's it from me on this one, fellas. You have yourselves a good weekend out there. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you indeed liked it, and subscribe if you're new. All that YouTube jazz, the hype and the mobile, all this crap, there's so much shit that I even lose track. That garbage aside, I've been cooking a special one on the side that I can't wait to share with you guys very soon. It'll be up this next week, so I'll see you then. Take care.